George, how about at DoD? You talked about a lot of different things that you all are doing over there, specifically lighting up the JWCC. I think you got four cloud vendors. You've got these multi-vendor, multi-cloud environment going on. Give us an example of what one that you'd like to highlight.
Yeah, so look, it's great that we have two DoD representatives here. So Jeff could talk
Absolutely.
about
Sort of a
DISA
yin
and
and
the
yang there
command
too.
support. So I was going to mention what they're doing. Like this is just knocking it out of the park with making cloud practical for all the agencies, especially what they're doing in the field. But the one I wanted to talk about today is the MEPCOM, the Military Interest Processing Command. So that's the command that reaches out to the American public, recruits people, brings people into the military service.
Oh,
It does background investigations. It figures out what their career in the military is going to be. They took some legacy mainframe applications that were, way beyond what we needed. And recruiting, you don't realize how important recruiting is just to keep the pipelines of the military
sure.
in place. So they transformed their entire infrastructure to a cloud first infrastructure. But more importantly, they changed how they did the development of systems. So going from a waterfall design with lots of planning and preparations, they changed it to an agile process. They started out in the cloud. They did minimum viable products. They looked to the core, the minimum core elements that you need for recruiting. And what was so fascinating is they changed the expectation of the recruiting community from a long application that's never changing into one that's minimally viable, but it changes every 2 weeks and features come on every 2 weeks. So
Hmm.
they would look at how to optimize what they're doing, and the people in the recruiting field would go back to the developers, go back to MEPCOM and ask for a couple features. And they would get those features, and then they would change their processes and they would expand on that. So at the end of the day, it's a completely different application, different backlog of requests. A lot of the legacy buttons and widgets that were in place were no longer necessary because the whole process was optimized around this gradually, incrementally adding capability and developing the process. So great example of using the cloud as a basis, hand in hand, agile development with the end users. And I think that's really how we want to transform cloud within the department.